Now sit your tushies down, strap on in because the Mardi Gras is home. Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome to the ABC's coverage of the 2022 Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras. I'm the very gay Jack Evans.
And my name is Julie McCrossan, and I'm the friendly suburban face of Australian lesbianism, and I want to really give you a warm welcome as well. We're going to be with you until 7:30 tonight, and then we'll hand you over to the very loving arms of Hamish MacDonald, Mons Shafter and Fab Original Stephen Oliver. But I want to let you know, Jack, that the ABC was the first broadcaster to televise the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras back in the 1990s, and I was there and Jack was in nappies.
Oh, thanks, Julie. I am young. Now, we also want to acknowledge that it is hard times right around the world, so wherever you're tuning in, we hope that this can bring a bit of lightness to your night. And boy, oh boy, do we have a show for you tonight. We are here at the Sydney Cricket Grounds, and we're not alone. Right in the thick of it, we've got Courtney Act, and over in the marshalling area is Jeremy Fernandez.
Yay!
Hello!
Hello. But first up, with a welcome to country, Gadigal drag royalty, Nana Muscuri.
Well, good evening, everybody, all of my beautiful people. Nana Muscuri is absolutely excited to be welcoming you all onto country for tonight's Mardi Gras parade on Bidjigal country. I was born up the road on Gadigal country, and I'm a proud descendant of both the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of this area. Two of the many family clans of Sydney's First Peoples, known today as the Eora. And I acknowledge the Darug Nation out west of First Peoples of Sydney. I acknowledge my mother's people, the Yuin people of the south coast of New South Wales. I am from a very long line of people who've been here for well over 70,000 years. We have survived. I acknowledge all my people, my ancestors and my elders, living, all First Nations people out there, and our young ones who carry our hopes in the future. And on a night like this, I share my pride in acknowledging of all us who stand before us under one rainbow as one proud Gadigal person of today, yesterday and tomorrow. As a proud gay Koori, I say welcome, welcome onto country. And now, I proudly invite my darling clan sister, Nadina Dixon, to greet you. Please welcome Nadina.
Nadina Dixon. Wormy. I'm Nadina Dixon. This is my mother, Auntie Rhonda Dixon Grosvenor, and we are direct descendants of the Gadigal, Dharawal, Bidjigal, Gweagal, Wongal, Yuin and Darug peoples. We are the direct descendants of the original apical ancestors of the Sydney Basin. And I'd like to thank beautiful Nana Miss Curry for giving us that blessing and welcome to country. What I'm sharing with you now is a part of a ceremony that acknowledges the Sydney Basin and the creation story of the Seven Sisters. The Seven Sisters are 7 women goddesses that travelled the landscape, and with their powers they created the Sydney Basin. When we see the Seven Sisters, known as the Pleiades in the night sky on the horizon, that's a signal for spring. And it's also the signal that represents the rebirth, renewal, and blessings that are to come now. So we're entering a very powerful cycle of rebirth. And it's a time for us to come together as a strong community and celebrate. And what I'd like to share with you now is, this is our words, people. Ready? Ngaya, Ngaya, Gilly, Ngaya, Gilly, Ngaya, Gilly, Ngaya, we, Gilly, sparkle. Ngaya, we, Gilly, sparkle. Ngaya, we, Gilly, sparkle. I'd love to hear you right now. Ngaya, Gilly, 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 Ngaya, Gilly.
see it in her eyes when she look at me, like she knows she took a part of me, but she ain't worth my time. No, she'll never be. And I know that she won't last, she'll do the same, she'll see. And I know you say you want her, but can you even trust her? Slipping you the pill because she know that you don't love her. Calling up your brother, so why you even bother? Calling me a monster, but that is undercover now. But I ain't gon' sweat, I'm fine. No thanks to you, I'm about to shine. I'm single and about that life, ayy, ayy, ayy. Cause I'm a queen. You couldn't handle this so crystal clean. You ain't the man for this, I swear by lean. Thank God I'm done with this. You'll come back and say you're sorry, but baby, don't even worry. I'm a queen. You had your chance with this, I'm doing me. Don't lie, you're missing this. I'm young and free. Oh, you can have him sit. You'll come back and say you're sorry, but baby, don't even worry. I'm a queen.
I'm a queen, yes, I'm crystal clean. I'm a queen, a queen.
Oh, baby boy, don't act surprised when darkness comes to life. Delusion and confusion, love ain't paradise. At least you tried to cover up your lies. Telling me she's just a friend, but don't believe the hype. And I know you say you want her, but can you even trust her? Sipping you the pill because she know that you don't love her. Calling up your brother, so why you even bother? Calling me a monster, but that is undercover now. But I ain't gon' sweat, I'm fine. No thanks to you, I'm about to shine. I'm single and I'm about that life, ayy, ayy, ayy. Cause I'm a queen. You couldn't handle this so crystal clean. You ain't the man for this, I swear by lean. Thank God I'm done with this. You'll come back and say you're sorry, little boy, don't even worry. I'm a queen. You had a chance with this, I'm doing me. Don't lie, you're missing this. I'm young and free. Oh, you can have it, sis. You'll come back and say you're sorry, little boy, don't even worry. I'm a queen.
I'm a queen, yes, I'm crystal clean. I'm a queen, a queen.
Ladies and gentlemen, the absolutely marvellous Scott Hunter. And here I am right now with Nana Muscuri, who I enjoyed so much with the Welcome to Country. What is this outfit? Explain it to me.
Hello, my darling. How are you?
I'm very
Happy
good.
Mardi Gras
Happy
to you,
Mardi Gras.
sweetheart. Yeah, well, this is a national costume that is made, known Gadi, which is a part of the Gadigal clan, which is also known as the Minga, and I am, if I could say discreetly, known as the native Aboriginal plant called the black boy. So black, green in the bushes.
It is absolutely amazing, and I know it was made for you, Nana. But I just want to say the First Nations participation in Mardi Gras now is absolutely massive. Why is it important that your community is represented here?
Oh, look, I've been a bit of a pioneer, Julie, for well over 23 years. And to see our representation of the First Nations people, also to have Welcome to Country, it is protocol to be incorporated into special events, meetings as tonight. You know, this is a wonderful meeting place here.
It is a wonderful meeting place, and what does it mean to you to be part of Mardi Gras?
Yes, you know, I've done volunteering, I've done my service there. As you know, I've graduated, Julie.
And I have just been so glad to be with you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to Nana Muscuri, and over to you, Jack.
Thank you, Julie. And I'm joined here with Nadina Dixon and her mother, Auntie Rhonda. Thank you so much for that beautiful welcome. It was such a good way to start the show. You also taught us a Gadigal word. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, the word is ngaya, which means we, and gilly, which means shine. So it's really referring to, you know, this spiritual idea of sparkling and renewal and coming forward as our full selves and our beautiful, vibrant selves.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with us. It is such an important message, and what a perfect place to spread it than here at Mardi Gras. I hope you guys have such a fabulous evening.
We're so thrilled to be here.
Yes. Now, it's also important that we acknowledge how we got here. And no, I'm not just talking about the taxi I took. The ABC is actually historically very gay, believe it or not. And so to tell us more about it is lesbian reporter Zoe Coombs-Marr.
Good evening, I'm Zoe Coombs-Marr and I'm behind a desk. Tonight, the Mardi Gras returns to ABC for the first time in 26 years. And later, local lesbian troublemaker breaks into ABC newsroom and pulls this face. The Mardi Gras started as a riot in 1978 and was first broadcast here on ABC in 1994 to universal approval.
Complaints continue to arrive at the ABC from 89 senators and MPs who say it's an assault on family values.
They were right to be concerned. That first broadcast turned me gay among thousands of others.
They spread at an absolutely alarming rate once they get a foothold somewhere.
Okay, technically that is cane toads, but it's kind of the same spread. Tonight, we take a moment to ask, how did we get here?
Yeah, how did you get in here?
And what's really behind that desk? Well, check this out. Just standing on the shoulders of queer giants. Whatevs. Seriously, the archives are full of that stuff. Actually,
Gay, happy singing?
It's very gay.
for a long time, there's no queer
gay
content
life.
at all, unless you count this stuff.
It's a good gay story.
The activity of it, the gayness.
It's not until 1970 that we get lesbians. These two were the first lesbians to come out publicly on telly. And here, wait for it, is the first same-sex kiss on Australian screens. Racy? Now, lesbians could be on TV because it wasn't illegal. Or possible.
The law condones it, but then many other women are revolted by the very thought of it.
All right, mate. Illegal or not, a couple of years later, the fellas join in. Very racy. In 1974, we get a bit of trans representation.
The borders of human gender are as blurred as tracks in a snowstorm.
At this point, trans rights are virtually unheard of, and homosexuality still pretty illegal.
And it carries a penalty, a maximum penalty, ranging from 14 years in New South Wales to life imprisonment in the ACT.
I know this is getting a bit pro-queer biased, so in the interest of balance, the other side did have some good points too.
Ever since my little boy was born, I have been given good advice on how not to turn him out a poofter. Now, could you tell me if there is anything in pink dye that changes hormones in children? Because that is, I've been told not to put pink on him or he'll end up a poofter.
Okay. It's against this backdrop that we get to 1978, the first Mardi Gras. This Mardi Gras was meant to be a fun nighttime event, accompanying demonstrations around the anniversary of Stonewall. They marched down Oxford Street in a moment of defiance and visibility. And shortly after, a ton of them are arrested and bashed by the cops. This might explain the difficult relationship that the queer community have with the police to this very day. But to be fair, the police were at the first Mardi Gras, so it's kind of their night too. Since 1978, Mardi Gras changed heaps. It's been a party, a protest, a dog show, a war cry, a protest, a pageant, and a memorial. And a protest again. Okay, it is often a protest. We've marched a long way, but there's still a lot of road ahead of us. Today, Mardi Gras is different things to different people. To some, it's a chance to connect with community. To others, a chance to drink goon out of a camelback on a street corner. So however you celebrate, happy Mardi Gras.
I tell you what, Zoe can have my news desk anytime. Now here we are outside the iconic SCG with the iconic Dykes on Bikes, always known for a massive entrance to the Mardi Gras parade every year. I'm here with its oldest serving member, Jenny. Jenny, the Dykes on Bikes have a huge history with Mardi Gras, don't they?
They do. They started off patrolling the streets of Darlinghurst, fighting against hate crimes, and they've actually been very community-minded ever since.
So sort of like a group of guardian angels almost, looking out for those who were getting bashed, who were getting victimised on the streets and taking them home.
Absolutely.
Now, you also do a lot of community outreach, as you say, so it's not just about being motorcycle enthusiasts, you look out for others too.
We do. We do a lot of women's health promotions with ACON, women's homelessness, because it's actually becoming more and more evident these days with mental health issues as well, and also RSPCA. We all love our pets, don't we? So,
Jenny, have a great ride.
You too. And I believe I have one of the boys on bikes helmets, because there's no way in hell any of these girls would actually wear one of these. You go and find them, all right?
I will. I'll see you out there.
Have a great time.
Thank you. Happy Mardi Gras.
Happy Mardi Gras. Bye.
Bye.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Jack, and I must say I found it tremendously moving to hear that history of the Dykes on Bikes. We're going to have boys on bikes as well tonight. You know, the fact that they used to ride around the streets of Oxford Street in the sort of game Golden Mile and to try to protect men from being bashed, I find that I'm proud to be a lesbian.
You should be proud to be a lesbian, and honestly, and I'm so grateful. I think so much of our community is grateful for what they did all those years ago and continue to do. And you know how fitting that they get to open the Mardi Gras every year.
And I must say, Jack, we've got the most extraordinary crowd here this evening. They've been. I think some of the costumes and the interplay between the individuals is comparable to what we'll be seeing as the parade begins.
Oh, yeah, and I'll be going around later and asking if I can borrow bits and pieces. I'm sure they won't mind.
I want to say, too, as we prepare for the arrival of the Dykes on Bikes and the boys on bikes as well, they'll be coming shortly. I just found the First Nations sequence so moving and so in depth, and particularly the smoking ceremony, the religiosity of that, and the Welcome to Country by Nana Miskuri, and the dancing. I just think it's marvellous that Mardi Gras has embraced so profoundly First Nations community.
Absolutely beautiful. It's beautiful, and it really, you know, brings back the message of United We Shine, which, as we all know, is the theme of this year's Mardi Gras. And speaking of which, if people are watching at home or if you're in the stadium and you can hear me, make sure you send in some pictures, because we want to see what you're wearing as well. We want to see how you're celebrating, and use the hashtag Mardi Gras ABC.
And we will enjoy seeing what they send.
Oh, absolutely.
I also want to let people know that, you know, we mentioned Oxford Street, and of course for many, many years Mardi Gras has been coming up Oxford Street, and it was the tradition to always stop at the very top of Oxford Street, which is known as Taylor Square, and people, the marchers, the floats would stop and would all have a bit of a stare and a clap. And so tonight, here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, we will be sort of emulating the Taylor Square moment out on the field. There'll be a moment where everybody stays still for 45 seconds.
Julie, can I confess something to you? And don't be too shocked, but this is actually my first in-person Mardi Gras. I'm a bad gay. I'm a bad gay.
Listen, there is no such thing as a bad gay at Mardi Gras.
Oh.
We welcome and embrace everybody. I'm thinking a little bit of revving might be occurring.
Oh, you know what? I can hear the engines revving, and I think I can smell the rubber burning.
Yes, well, that could be. It's a possibility. It could be petrol fumes in the air, just getting you a little bit overexcited.
Oh, that's what's bringing a tear to my eye.
As we await the arrival of our Dykes on Bikes, can I just celebrate the Sydney Cricket Ground and also send a message out, if I may, to anyone who's viewing us from parts of Australia that have been flooded in recent times. We know a lot of people are doing it very tough at the moment, and if you've been able to get somewhere and to watch us this evening to enjoy Mardi Gras, we just want to know that we're going to endeavour to bring some entertainment to you today as you face, you know, those challenges in your communities. And so I think, though, there is a group joining us tonight, the Tourette's group of Australia, a very special group of people with a strong association with our rainbow community, the LGBTQIA plus community. So let's have a look at this very special Tourette's group.
Tourette Syndrome Association Australia is an organisation that is supporting families and individuals with Tourette syndrome.
Hi, I'm Void. I'm 15. I have Tourette syndrome. I should probably mention that I'm gay and non-binary.
So in recent years, They seem to have discovered a link between people that are neurodivergent, things like autism and Tourette syndrome. There seems to be quite a strong link between that and being gender diverse.
Tourette's isn't always fun. You do get isolated socially, especially the people who don't accept that, oh, you can't control it. People get angry at you for ticking. A lot of my tics can be identity based, so a lot of the F slur, the T slur, calling people all sorts of really mean things are part of my tics. So it's getting information out there about Tourette's in queer communities, especially since there are a lot of queer people with Tourette's. It should alleviate some worries when going to events like Pride and Mardi Gras and things, if there's a knowledge of Tourette's out in the community.
Boyd and I are both going to Mardi Gras. Quite exciting. I kind of made the decision that we needed to be there. Such a great opportunity for them to be able to just be their whole self, to represent themselves to the world how they want to represent themselves to the world. So they love makeup, they love expressing themselves in different ways using makeup. It's an expression of who they are right the way from their very soul, which I think is amazing. So to be able to do that at Mardi Gras will be fantastic.
How beautiful was that? I can't wait to see Void and their mother walking later on this evening.
Because they'll be joining us here, and I must say, I didn't realise there was an association between Tourette syndrome and our community. So I love the inclusivity of Mardi Gras, that literally everybody is welcome and people's stories that are so rarely heard can be told.
And just a reminder, if the ABC has got you covered Mardi Gras wide, I believe it's now the Gay BC, and we've got every angle. We're here on iView. It's not going to be on the ABC 7:30, ABC Sydney, Triple J. Gosh, there's just Mardi Gras everywhere. It's coming out of our ears.
I'm very proud of the ABC because, as we said, it was the broadcaster that put the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras onto television before anybody else did, and I will be eternally grateful to them for it. But I think we've got something of a little bit of a surprise coming up.
A surprise at Mardi Gras? Never.
Dykes on bikes and boys on bikes.
And I believe, here they come. It's the Dykes on bikes.
Is there anything more arousing than a throbbing machine between the legs of someone at Mardi Gras with the flag, the rainbow flag, whether they're Dykes on bikes, boys on bikes coming later?
Yes, we have the boys on bikes as well.
It's the pride, it's the power.
Now, can I ask you a question, Julie? You're a dyke. Have you ever been on a bike?
I did have a motorbike for a period of time, but I didn't make it into Dykes on bikes because it had roll bars and I used to roll the bike before I started the key.
Oh.
I was very, very unsuccessful. I'm enjoying the Valkyrie music. I do think Wagner and Dykes on bikes is a very strong cultural association. Now, ladies and gentlemen and everyone, you know that this group has been going for 30 years, which is an amazing thing. They started in the 1980s, as we heard a little bit earlier, to fight the hate crimes, but they are the longest running Australian female-identified motorcycle club, currently with 160 members.
160, and these days as well, it's more inclusive of the trans and non-binary community. Dykes on Bikes, they welcome non-binary and genderqueer people whose gender is aligned with womanhood and the female identity, which, is really lovely. It's why Jeremy obviously couldn't get on the back of one of them. I'm very excited to see if he actually did.
Well, I think Jeremy may be appearing with one of the boys on bikes.
It's very brave.
I think it's a possibility, and there may be a very special helmet. I'm enjoying this new flag that has been introduced that incorporates the rainbow but also transgender. And I like to think the colours of the multicultural racial groups and First Nations groups in our society. It is a magnificent sight.
It really is, and look at them. I believe they're only allowed to do 5 kilometres per hour, so don't fear anybody.
Yes, we don't get quite the same revving as in an Oxford Street situation, but I'm still thrilled to see them on the Sydney Cricket Ground with little bursts of fire.
Yes, just little ones. Oh, and here's the boys on bikes. Now,
Julie, you know this, but a lot of people probably don't. Mardi Gras actually started as a protest, and we wouldn't be here if it weren't for people like you, brave people who took to the streets in 1978 and demanded better. And earlier this week, you actually caught up with the fellow 78er, Australian LGBTQIA+ rights activist and friend, Peter Duval.
Peter, thank you so much for joining me here in Oxford Street, where it all began. I want you to think of the early 70s, Mardi Gras, 78. When you think of those days of protesting, the old days, what happens in your heart? How does it make you feel?
Fear, there was a lot of fear, Julie.
What was it back then that was so bloody awful?
Every day we were bloody criminals. The police could have come in and arrested Bon and me in our home, doing something we wanted to do, we loved to do.
Also, people wanted to hit us. If I ever held a hand of a girl, it happened to me, I got punched in the teeth.
Yeah.
What motivated you to risk everything and get out on the street?
In order to bring about change, we had to be there, walking down, saying we're here, we're queer, we're proud.
We just had to do
it. Yeah, yeah. I think the biggest change we have been able to make is an acceptance or being ourselves within the general community. And I think the nowadays Mardi Gras parade is evidence of that. The exhilaration that is there. Families with kids, they cheer and say, yes, you're welcome. The first Mardi Gras, we didn't have that. It was a lonely affair, in a way.
Did you expect Mardi Gras to still be going 44 years later? I'm going to ask that question again. Only because of that man on a motorbike.
Is it the Dyke on bike? Rehearsing.
Very hard to tell. Peter, did you ever expect it to be still happening 44 years later?
We hoped it would. I think the police, in a way, in a roundabout way, helped promote it, because they really put it on the page in an awful way.
My own view is that there are young people across Australia who need Mardi Gras as much today as we did, because they might be from a cultural group where homosexuality is forbidden, or they're from a faith group where it's forbidden. You look back over your life, would you do it all again?
Look, there's a wonderful song by Edith Piaf, Non regrette rien, no regrets.
The young'uns will fight on.
Let's hope so. I'll be with them.
Jack, I find it very moving to see Peter Duval. I just want to say he appeared with his partner Bon on a program called Checkerboard in 1972 on the ABC. He and Bon kissed, Sue Wills and Gabby Antolovich kissed. First time homosexuals seen, many years before decriminalisation. It changed my life, it changed the life of many, and indeed Bon, Peter's partner, got sacked. So thank you so much to those brave 78ers in that period. And they will, of course, be marching tonight. But look, here we go.
There he is. Fernandez.
Oh, Jeremy.
He's missing his helmet. Gosh, my mother would kill me.
Oh, Jack. The First Nations.
The First Nations is coming up. I can see that. Oh, Jeremy, can you see us?
This is just your average newsreader enjoying himself in Sydney. This happens every night of the week.
Yes, and I would know, wouldn't I? And look, his chest. What is it, bedazzled?
Well, it's wonderful to see Jeremy right in the thick of it here at the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras 2022. ABC back broadcasting.
No hands. Oh, and here they are. It's the First Nation floats. One of my personal favourites, if I can be a bit biased there, which we're going to be seeing next up in the coming through, having their Taylor Square moment.
Just glorying there in the sights of the Dykes on bikes.
It's really just a great way to get the show started, isn't it?
It is, it really is. It's the revving machines, and I think Jeremy's feeling the excitement there.
Yes, I think from his face we can definitely agree upon that.
We'll let you enjoy the sight, ladies and gentlemen. You don't see that often of 160 lesbians on throbbing motorbikes, the little Vespa, at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Oh, really? It's a Tuesday for me.
It's a little bit culturally different for the Sydney Cricket Ground, and I'm grateful to them for welcoming us here for the second year running.
Yes, I think it probably took about a year to get the grounds back to what they were, and now we're just going to do it again. Here we are, blackfellas, in sequin, shining gold. Oh, that's the most fabulous flag I've ever seen.
And the gold, what does it symbolise?
The gold, that symbolises the sun, the giver of life, and that's actually what the theme of their float this year is. Oh!
They were a little pair of sort of Aboriginal flag undies.
I've actually got them on underneath these sequin pants. Now, before we do see the First Nations float have their Taylor Square moment, I actually had an opportunity to catch up with two of the participants earlier this week.
Thanks, me, and you're doing a great job. The First Nations float has been marching since 1988. It's a showcase of black queer mob, one of my personal favourites, and this year, TikTok cheeky cousins will be marching together for the very first time. Tristan and Mary, hello.
I'm excited because it's Mary's first Mardi Gras. Mary's always wanted to come to Mardi Gras because of her brother that passed away, 4 or 5 years ago now? He didn't even come to Mardi Gras either. No.
I wanted to.
So now Mary's doing it for him on the weekend as well, and herself.
I was proud of my brother when he came out with it. I knew he was from the start, but we just all waited for him to come out with it. I'm proud of my cousin, and and I love gay people, and they're more respectful than anyone else in this world.
It's also being united. So mob from around Australia is all coming down for the parade. There's people that I meet every year that I'm still friends with now from 6 years ago. It's the best feeling in the world.
What do you think's going to happen? What are you expecting?
Meeting gay people.
Oh, don't.
Yeah, that's not what's wrong with that.
She does have a point.
There you go.
So what, Mardi Gras is just about meeting gay people?
No, it's having fun.
And Mary, this is your first year marching. Are you nervous?
I just want to be there to enjoy it with them.
Embrace it all.
Embrace it all, like he said, yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm nervous now.
Get your tits out and have the best time ever.
Shut up. Don't even mention that.
Oh, Jack, here we've got the 78ers. So this is the group of people where it all began. This is the major protest in 1978 where a group of people marched up to King's Cross, and it turned into a terrible battle with the police, and 53 people were arrested.
And of course, Julie, you were there. What was it like?
Look, that whole period was a time of immense conflict with the police, and I have to say it was traumatic. You have to remember that in New South Wales, homosexuality wasn't decriminalised until 1984. So, we were seen as mentally ill, against God's will, and it was a criminal act for men and by implication for women as well. So, look, they were tough times, but can I just say the 78ers this year are marking a particular year in our history, 1972, where so much happened, including that checkerboard program. But I think we've moved on now.
We're seeing so much here. Here's trans glamour in their labia costumes. Oh, sorry.
I think the labia.
That was the itty bitty titty committee.
Yes, maybe coming a little bit later.
Yes.
I think we may be here with a trans glamour, and this is a group celebrating, well, just being trans and being glamorous.
That's
and being
exactly right.
tremendously happy.
Looking absolutely fabulous as they do. And I believe they've started a night every Thursday, and it was basically to give trans performers more of a chance to showcase their talents, their skills, their dancing.
And safety. I mean, we are still having trouble in Australia, I think, accepting trans people, and so they meet regularly and entertain each other. And I must say, they are looking glamour, don't you think?
I'm so sorry, Julie. I'm just so distracted by all of these fabulous outfits.
I don't think we expect intense concentration during Mardi Gras.
No, you might have to pinch me a couple of times. Oh, look at that. I was going to wear that exact same outfit, but I'm glad I didn't, because they're pulling it off a lot better.
Enjoy yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Magnificent costumes. Yes, I think we may be beginning to see the Itty Bitty Titty Committee. Now, this is a group marching for the 5th year in a row, Jack. They are celebrating tonight labia. Now, that is a Latin term meaning intimate lady parts. Now, this is...
okay, I was wondering. Thank you for filling me
Well, I
in on
know
that.
it's your first Mardi Gras. You're a little gay man.
My first labia.
Oh, it's your first labia.
There's a lot of firsts tonight.
It's a lot of firsts. It is a Latin term, and interestingly enough, it's not only used for intimate lady parts, it's also labia, the term used for the petal on a plant in botany that attracts bees that pollinate.
You know what I love about this? I'm just learning so much.
Well, you would recognise, of course, ABBA.
Oh, of course I recognise ABBA. I am gay.
Yeah, that's
and they've had quite a big year. I think it's been 35 years that they've reunited as holograms. So who knows? Maybe we'll see the holograms here tonight.
This is a form of synchronised dancing that is usually involving lesbians. I think a little bit later we'll see the Asian marching boys, or we may see a little bit greater synchronisation. Whoa!
Look at that.
Magnificent.
Oh, I'm very excited about these guys. Use me up, wear me out. It's a phrase that's probably going to be thrown out quite a bit tonight.
Now, this is classic, magnificent Mardi Gras.
And look, their costumes are, you know, I don't want to be crude, but they're quite garbage, really.
They are garbage.
Literally.
But that is because they are queer recyclers. This is the environmental group of Mardi Gras. They're recycling everything. I understand they've got HIV medication blister packs as one of the many things they're recycling. And I think one man has a mask made of old shoes. I haven't yet seen that, but this is, you know, creativity with recycling.
Yes.
Absolutely fabulous. Now, I think we may be heading shortly towards an area of the world with which you have been associated, Jack.
Oh, yes, where's that?
Well, I understand you went to university in the Illawarra Shoalhaven area.
I sure did. What? Have you been stalking me, Julie?
Well, I think we may be seeing this Illawarra Shoalhaven Rainbow Alliance group coming up behind
yes, I can see
the
them.
queer recyclers. And it's
Aren't we all queer recyclers? I mean, if we put it in the yellow bin.
Well, I'm not very good at that, as anyone who's lived with me knows. But these are... well, is this what everybody looks like in Wollongong?
Well, yeah, pretty much. I think I know most of them, actually.
In this era, people capture themselves on social media in situ.
Yes, you're quite active on social media, Julie. You know that. You've been snapping me all week. There's just so much to look at.
Look, I think the joy we're feeling here tonight in the midst of a world in so much difficulty is a relief to many. And I can see, in fact, the amnesty sign emerging now. And this is a very important opportunity to note the important fact that there are many nations of the world where it is still illegal to be homosexual, where the death penalty is still applied, particularly in a number of Asian countries. How thrilling, though, if I could move to Clover Moore, the Lord Mayor of Sydney. And Clover has been supporting our movement for, well, decades and decades, and it's just thrilling to see her. Gee, we've got an enormous diversity here tonight, Jack, haven't we?
Look at these signs.
Could I just say, with Amnesty International, there are also many nations where people are jailed for their homosexuality, and so we're just really thrilled to see Amnesty represented here in the Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras for 2022.
Yes, and just a reminder, we're here until 7:30 tonight on iView, and we're going to be handing you over to the loving hands of Hamish MacDonald, Mon Shafter, and fab original Stephen Oliver.
Magnificent, sir.
And here we go, First Nations coming down the Taylor Square, having their moment. I'm keeping an eye out for Mary and Tristan, my TikTok royalty friends. See if they're there. Looking absolutely fabulous in their black and gold.
And the three flags, we've got Torres Strait Islander, Aboriginal flag now owned by our nation, increasingly flown alongside our more traditional flag.
I wonder where Mary is. I wonder if she's met a gay person yet or got her tits out.
sacred and special moment, Jack.
And so their float is just a showcase of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander LGBTQIA plus community. And their key message is sovereign leaders rise, 65,000 plus years of history, culture and connection to country. I mean, that's something I can get behind.
We should explain, ladies and
oh,
gentlemen.
what a blessing this is. We have the Order of Perpetual Indulgence. Now, this mob, they are an order of gay male nuns and lesbian monks who are supporting people's natural right to live and love whomever they wish. I mean, what a nice message from a religious institution.
Look, I know some people will be startled to see people dressed in this manner, but the Order of Perpetual Indulgence has been active in the gay and lesbian community for literally decades, and in periods when no churches or faith groups would welcome us, they've actually played a kind of community blessing role when they bless openings of events that we have. So they're actually quite precious.
And here we've got serving some eleganza, extravaganza. It's trans glamour. And look, they're giving us just that full-on glamazon, sashaying down there for their Taylor Square moment.
And could I explain to people, what's happening here this evening is that as our groups enter, they circle around the Sydney Cricket Ground a couple of times, and then they each get this opportunity in the centre of the Taylor Square moment, as we call it, to stand still and be glorified. And that's why we're seeing people at different times.
And I think it's, we are at the Sydney Cricket Ground, so I think we'd like to acknowledge the sad news that we all heard this morning about cricket legend Shane Warne. Our thoughts are with his friends and family tonight.
Absolutely, Jack. I think the whole of Australia has felt an extraordinary shock at Shane Warne dying at such an early time.
Oh, wowza. I hear Trans Glamour, they're heading to more regional towns, including Newcastle, which is where I'm from. So, Mum, if you're listening, you should go check them out.
Oh, beautiful.
That is fabulous. Oh, and here they are again. What was it? Labia.
Look, I don't know if it's labia or labia. And
well, you probably should.
I should. They're just, I did Latin at school even. So this is, it's not a term I use frequently, but it is an appropriate term for the ABC at this time of the evening
and
on a family show.
Performing to ABBA, SOS.
Use me on when it is.
I have to say, it is really exciting to be out in the middle of the Sydney Cricket Ground, isn't it? I think people really enjoy this moment.
I didn't think I'd be so excited to be at a sporting arena, to be honest. Can you see any holograms?
Yes, I think this is an all-woman group.
I believe it is. But Julie, I have pretty itty-bitty titties. Do you think I could join? Would they make an exception? I'll have to go and ask them.
I'm a great believer that everybody should be welcome.
Yes, and here we are. It's the Use Me Up, Wear Me Out, who we saw earlier on. Such a fabulous use of rubbish, really. It's inspired me. I'm going to go home and go through my bin, see what I can find, see what I can make.
Evidently, they collect all the recycled rubbish and then they let it dictate the outfit. So this is pure creativity. We're not looking at a particular thing.
See, I would do the opposite. I'd go to the shops and find things that I want to then wear later on.
We don't think of it in this way, but Mardi Gras is actually a community arts event to a large degree, isn't it?
Yes.
I must say earlier when I was with Nana Miskuri, I did love her custom-made outfit. Custom-made outfit. It was absolutely incredible.
And here we have the Illawarra Shoalhaven Rainbow Alliance. They've driven up from the Wollongong, which, if you're not from New South Wales, is just south of Sydney. They're here, they're queer, and tonight they're breaking through the storm of adversity.
Yes, because the rainbow comes out later. And frankly, you couldn't have a more appropriate theme for what's going on in the world at the moment than breaking through the storm of adversity.
And just the other day, it's been raining all week in Sydney, but I just saw a rainbow, and I just thought, it all makes sense. It's all coming together.
I must say, I love to see children marching now in Mardi Gras. To feel that we are a group that can include the whole family, it really matters to me. As a younger woman, I didn't know that you could have a family, to be honest.
Well, I'll be your family, Julie.
Thanks, Jay.
And this is the Asian Marching Boys and Friends with their float, the House of Dragons. And this is a very... it's a beautiful group. They started back in 2000 because there was a lack of gay Asian men present at Mardi Gras. And you know what? 22 years later, they're still going strong, and they look as fabulous as ever.
Cheeky.
I'm distracted again, Julie.
I felt a little nuance go through you there. Can I say, this particular group, the Asian Marching Boys and Friends, are proud and happy to now be in Australia because they come from Vietnam, China, Malaysia, Singapore and other Asian nations where it is still not culturally acceptable nor legally acceptable to be openly homosexual. So this really is a celebration of the freedom of Australian society. And here comes the Social Justice in Early Childhood group. And they're going to be marching to an original song, How I Like to Be Me, which we can hear. And I think some people are going to be signing it. Yes, you can see the signing. And this is a group of early childhood educators who for many, many years have been making all children welcome.
And here is Rainbow Amnesty International Australia. And they're marching to the preset song, My People, which I didn't actually know, and I'd be interested to know if other people knew, but it was actually written about asylum seekers in detention centres. And the choreography that they're going to be doing tonight is an homage to the protests in refugee camps.
I understand they will be crossing their arms at some point in front of their chests, which is seen as a symbol of protest within many asylum groups. Obviously highlighting the particular dilemmas of LGBTQIA+ refugees and asylum seekers.
And here comes the City of Sydney strutting down for their Taylor Square moment.
Which we're thrilled to see them because of their multi-decade support for our community. I
think they might be superheroes.
I'd say they are superheroes.
Oh, great.
I think the theme is Power and Pride, the City of Sydney.
Oh, that makes sense then.
And frankly, they did make us feel welcome in our city long before many other cities across Australia.
Well,
although Adelaide has got an honourable record in that regard.
I mean, I've felt very welcome since arriving in Sydney, so thank you, City of Sydney.
member for Sydney, and Sydney Lord Mayor Clover Moore.
And we're just so pleased to welcome Clover Moore, the Lord Mayor of Sydney, a massive supporter of the gay and lesbian community. If I could say to you, Jack, because I know this is your first Mardi Gras, Clover was supporting us and speaking up for us when it was not a popular thing to do. And in fact, there have been Mardi Gras where many, many people have dressed as Clover Moore. She's famous for wearing chokers, and
Yes.
I do think we have a relevant choker. And can I also welcome Alex Greenwich, the member for Sydney, who's marching with Clover. Alex has been a key person, a co-chair of marriage equality, and a great voice for the rainbow community, the LGBTQIA+ community, in many political issues. And I should say Clover has been in both local and state government and was a tremendous supporter during the AIDS crisis and also advocacy for equal rights to adoption. So big thanks to Sydney, Alex Greenwich, and the Lord Mayor of Sydney, Clover Moore.
Yes. And just a reminder, if you're watching at home, send in your pictures. We want to see what you're doing. Use the hashtag Mardi Gras ABC. What an absolute spectacle this is.
It is.
It's incredible.
Oh, coming up the wiggles. It doesn't get more exciting than that.
I'm wiggling in my seat just in anticipation. Oh, and here come the
Look,
gay tradies.
The gay tradies. Now, look, okay, Jack, sometimes we field tradies ask us to be at home. We wait a long time and they don't come. This is a different group of
Because
gay
they're on
tradies.
time?
They're on time. They've come en masse. They're from the construction industry. And, you know, in all seriousness, they're working to make it a more friendly place for diverse people, for women, to overcome derogatory language. It's actually a similar sort of movement within the construction industry to what is in many of the football codes now, where it's no longer acceptable to be, you know, call someone a poofter and be derogatory.
Sorry, Julie, I am listening. I'm just looking out for a plumber's crack.
I might send a cheerio call to my stepson Luke, who is in fact a plumber, and he has a crack.
And who knew tradies could dance as well?
It's great to see the women there, though, isn't it?
It really is. Honestly, I'm thinking of becoming a tradie. I could screw something in, sorry. Now, out on the hunt tonight is the Harbour City Bears. Julie, are you familiar with all the different bears?
I would like to be guided through the bear matter. I want to
Okay.
know about all the bears.
Oh, I can fill you in with all the hairy gay man taxonomy. I'll just go through a few of them. You've got your bears, they're the biggest men. Cubs, that's a bit of a bear in training, generally a bit younger. You've got muscle bears, which I think is self-explanatory. And, you've also got your chasers, who are guys who love bears.
Indeed, and look, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, this Sydney group has existed for 26 years. They host 140 events a year. They fundraise for the AIDS Council of New South Wales and also for 2010, which is a service for young people, particularly homeless young people who are having difficulties with their families.
I'm wondering if Big Ted and Little Ted are somewhere in there.
Interestingly, they have fluoro jackets as well. But can I say there are Victorian bears, Bris bears, bears of Perth, bears men of Melbourne. Bears are a big thing across Australia.
And this is, we heard from Void earlier on and their mother. This is the Tourette Syndrome Association Australia float. And I believe this is the first time the group is marching.
It is, and so we want to extend a very special welcome to Tourette Syndrome Association Australia. Tick loud, be proud. This is a neurologically diverse group of people, many of whom identify as LGBTQIA+. There's evidently a connection. As we heard before, you can have tremendous difficulties with ostracism because of calling out words and so on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost time for us to say goodbye.
Oh, is it really?
I'm absolutely astounded. This time has gone so quickly.
It has. Look, and thank you for spending my first ever Mardi Gras with me, Julie. I can't wait to get back down there. Did you have any highlights?
I had highlights. I enjoyed the bears enormously, the bears and the First Nations.
We'll see you later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.